How's it going, my bakers? Hope you're having a great day so far. Welcome to another video. Today we're making something that we haven't made before, EINKORN bread. So let's go to the kitchen and get started. Most of the recipes on this channel are made with modern wheat flour, and the majority of the recipes are made with white wheat flour. Sometimes we do make some more nutritious and tastier whole wheat breads. Rye flour has made an appearance once in a while too, and I even have a couple of spelt flour recipes. But einkorn flour is one that I had never successfully baked with. But what is einkorn, I hear you ask? It's an ancient type of wheat. Think of it as the grandfather of the grains that we use for making flour today. The name einkorn, translated from German, means one grain, hinting at its purity. Modern wheat has been hybridized and cross-bred to give it certain characteristics. For one, it has a thinner shell, which makes it easier to process and thus more cost-effective. And of course it has that one characteristic we always want, strong gluten, which is great for making bread, but not so great for our tummies. I am in fact gluten intolerant, so flours like rye, spelt and einkorn are perfect for me. Another thing einkorn has going for it is that it's more nutritious than wheat flour. But why does it not seem to be commonly used? I think the main deterrent for most people could be price. The flour that I'm using in this video is 8 times more expensive than the wheat flour I normally use. Another reason why I personally haven't used it is my limited knowledge of baking with einkorn. Most of the recipes I've come across don't look so great, and the fact that the gluten in this flour is so weak made my own experiments more difficult and costly. When I decided to make this video, I thought let me do something I had never done before, which is to simply try the suggested recipe on the bag of flour itself. I mean, it makes total sense, right? Of course I modified it slightly, and it worked perfectly, so there will be definitely more einkorn videos coming after this one. And not only that, I have about 8 rye bread videos lined up too. And we'll do some more spelt flour breads in the not so distant future. There are so many white wheat flour recipes on this channel, it's unreal. So it's time to explore the healthier side of baking. If only for a little while. But back to einkorn. Because the gluten it produces is so weak, einkorn dough is super sticky. And there's no point kneading it. In fact, kneading it can make it even stickier. Wetting your hands with water to handle dough like this can really help. So all the breads you're gonna make with this flour will be no-knead breads technically. Especially because even folding doesn't achieve anything, except for equalizing the temperature in the dough. So the preparation and handling is very different from wheat flour dough. Even though it may sound a little bit challenging, it really isn't. Because if you do it the right way, it's going to work. And here's the first loaf that we're going to make. A very basic, easy to prepare and good looking einkorn bread that tastes great. It has a light nutty aroma and taste, a slightly chewy crumb and a soft crust. It is made with whole grain einkorn flour, so it's more nutritious and the lowered gluten could be better for your belly. But I do need to add a disclaimer here. Even though flours like einkorn and spelt and also rye are said to be low in gluten, that doesn't mean that they are gluten free. None of them are gluten free. They may be okay for someone like me who is slightly gluten intolerant. They are definitely not safe for celiacs who are allergic to gluten. But back to the recipe. There are only a few things that we need to make this loaf. Some whole grain einkorn flour, yeast, salt and water. Only 4 ingredients are in this bread. And we'll need a 1.5 or 2 pound baking tin. And of course we'll need to pay attention to temperature control, as always, and we'll start with that. My kitchen is relatively cool at the moment at 23 degrees Celsius or 73 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm using slightly warmer water here. We're aiming for a final dough temperature of around 25 degrees Celsius or 77 degrees Fahrenheit. If you want to learn more about no-knead bread dough temperature control, you can find a full video about that in the Principles of Baking playlist. Okay, pour the water in a large bowl, add the salt, the yeast, and give it all a good mix. Dissolve the salt completely. And then add the flour, grab your scraper, and mix it to a dough. That's all there is to it. I love the unique color of this flour. It's kind of orangey yellow. It is because of its high carotenoid content. Carotenoids are organic pigments produced by plants. And as their name suggests, they are also present in carrots. They give carrots, amongst other vegetables and fruits, their distinct color. But it's not just all for looks. Carotenoids are natural antioxidants, which is always a bonus. Okay, once the dough is fully mixed, it will look like this. It'll be super loose and sticky, so make sure to wet your hands when handling it. Let's pop the dough into the bowl and take its temperature. We were aiming for around 25 degrees Celsius, 77 degrees Fahrenheit. That's exactly what we got. If your dough is warmer, it'll ferment more rapidly. If it's cooler, it'll take longer. At this temperature, the total bulk fermentation time will be around 1.5 hours. Halfway through bulk fermentation, I decided to give this dough a fold. But as I mentioned earlier, folding doesn't really achieve anything when it comes to dough structure. But it can help with equalizing the temperature of the dough. So if your room temperature is very different from the dough temperature, then you might want to do this. It will ensure that the dough ferments evenly. It is a strange feeling folding dough like this, because it doesn't tighten at all. It is just as loose after the fold as it was before I folded it. I would describe this flour as a lighter and less sticky version of rye flour, if that makes sense. Okay, once bulk fermentation is over and your dough is puffed up nicely, we can do the final shaping. But before we do that, let's prep our baking tin. My USA pan Pullman loaf tin has served me really well. It is not sticky at all, but I still like to brush it with butter. For one, it gives me peace of mind, but also it toasts the crust real nicely on all sides and gives it some of that nice buttery flavor. You can of course use oil instead. Okay, so to do the final shaping, dust your dough with flour, tip it out on the table the smooth side down, then dust the bottom of it with flour as well. It is still quite sticky. Like I mentioned earlier, folding doesn't really do anything for this dough, and rolling it up like a traditional loaf also won't do much. The only reason why I'm doing it is to ensure that the loaf is nice and even. If I simply try to squish the dough ball into an oblong loaf, it may not have turned out as straight in the end. Once you have finished shaping, place the dough in the tin with the seam side down, and then press it into the tin. Make sure it fits in there nicely. Make the dough reach all the corners. Now we can cover it and leave it for the final proof, which will take around 1 hour. That of course will depend on the temperature of your kitchen. During this time, preheat the oven, 170 degrees Celsius fan on or 190 fan off, and that'll be 340 or 375 degrees Fahrenheit respectively. One sure way of knowing that the loaf is ready for the oven is by observing the surface of it. If there are loads of little holes, little bubbles that have popped, it is ready. So pop this bad boy in the oven, we'll bake it for 40 minutes initially, and it should be done after this time. But after 40 minutes of baking, I decided to take the loaf out of the oven, spray it down with water, and then place it back into the oven for another 5 minutes of baking. This is the method I use for rye bread quite often. It makes the crust really nice and soft. You don't have to do this, but if you never tried it, give it a try and see how it works for you. Leave it in the oven for another 5 minutes, and now it's ready. And whilst the water softened it, it didn't do it any favors when it came to looks. I was not the biggest fan of this pale top crust it developed, but here's a perfect remedy. Take a little bit of olive oil and brush it all over. Simple as that, it's beautiful again. And there you have it. That's how to make a super basic einkorn loaf. Great texture, great aroma, great flavor, easy preparation. You can't go wrong with it. It could be healthier and more digestible than the other breads that you bake. That of course will depend on the things that you put on it. I'm looking forward to trying more recipes using this flour. It's very unique, and I want to see how far we can take it. So what do you think of my basic einkorn bread? Have you ever tried using this flour before? Let me know down in the comments. You want to see more videos like this one? Click over here. Subscribe to the channel, click right here. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.